r/ask Reddit. What is some advice that is too late for you, but others ought to hear and consider? $1,000 isn't very much money to have, but it's a lot to owe. Yeah, when I was borrowing money from student loan, it never seemed like enough. Now that I have to pay it back, I realize it was way too much. The more you let others, especially parents, control your life and don't establish boundaries, the more likely it is that you will be doing something you absolutely hate but let others push you into doing. Establish boundaries and take control of your life. I always wanted to work in food and was going to sign up for it in college when I first graduated. My mom thought I should be practical and get a pharmacy technician degree first. I felt like I was wasting time doing that and ended up quitting anyway. Now I went back and I am working on my culinary degree now. Took me 10 years to get going again, but I'm almost there now. Back up all your damn computer files. My sister and parents are joking how much backups I made, and when my phone resets I'm like, okay, no problem booth. When that happens to someone else it's just like they bought a new phone, nothing is there. Love isn't always enough. You can love somebody very much and the relationship still may not work. And one person's commitment to love deeply and unconditionally cannot make up for the other person not reciprocating. Stretch and exercise daily. It's far easier to maintain a healthy weight than it is to get to one from being overweight obese. It's also a hell of a lot easier to do it while you're young than to start when you're close to 40. Don't use heroin. I'm clean now, but just don't. This and pills aren't a safe alternative. Any opiate will dig in its claws and take over your life. Start saving money now. It's better to have money and not need it than to need money and not have it. Not to mention how important developing the habit of going without stuff is. Cutting down luxuries is not easy if you have them so often that you don't consider them luxuries. If your partner overreacts to trivial things and makes you beg for forgiveness early in the relationship, then they will most likely escalate to abuse. Get out before it gets that bad. It will only get worse and it will only get harder to leave. Inclusively, overreacting doesn't mean they'll flip out and shout about it. Playing victim is also a form of overreacting and manipulation. Both forms train the other person to feel guilty and submissive to the other person. Before you buy something, ask yourself, do I need this shit? For example, that new iPhone XS 12 version, the second of may be nice, but if your phone does the job already, why spend the money? Be smart with your money. 2. Don't take advice from someone you wouldn't take criticism from. 3. Have a long-term goal and sacrifice for it. If you don't make the sacrifice now, what you want becomes the sacrifice. Don't smoke. Even if you eventually manage to quit, you're forever an ex-smoker, not a non-smoker. I quit 14 years ago and that shit is still following me. I just need to pass by a smoker having one on the street and it reactivates all the cravings. Put in an effort to maintain your relationships, romantic or otherwise. Always put in that effort. And leave a relationship where the other person refuses to put in effort even when you try to talk about it. When I get my own place, I'm cutting off contact with my sister. She won't care since she hates me so much. For the love of God, don't go to uni just because you think it's the next logical step. Have a plan. Have an end goal. Be there for a reason. Moreover, if you realize that you're failing and losing the ability to function, reach out. There's so much help there just waiting for you. Don't end up like me, who had no real end goal, lost all desire and ability to do anything and had to drop out with absolutely nothing to show for it. Don't ever self-harm. If you've just started and you're thinking it's not that bad or that it's not bad enough to ask for help, believe me, it's so much better to get help now. It's very hard to quit once you've done it a few times and it gets so exhausting trying to stop but failing. Substitute your self-harm to self-harm by lifting weights or doing a sprint run, something that will push you and hurt you and give you release. But unlike self-harm where your body declines, with this you will get better and fitter each time. Channel the need into something good, not bad. Don't forget the condom. Username does not check out. Don't settle for someone for reasons such as, we have been together for a long time or I don't want to be alone. Get out before you take the next step. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to walk away. While you don't need to have your whole career mapped out at 18, Make choices extremely carefully because it can become bloody difficult or impossible to change them later. Do your homework in high school. Just because you already understand the subject doesn't mean you don't have to do the homework. High school isn't there to teach you about the world. It's there to teach you how to show up every day and be a reliable worker. Listen to this. I coasted hard in high school because it came easy to me. The last 2 years I'd just breeze through homework right before classes. Refused to take it home or actually out time into it. The result was I spent several years after high school with no work ethic and no good study work habits. I wasted those years and would have done much better if I started good habits in school. Don't build your self-worth around money. No matter how much you make, it will never be enough, and the more you have, the more you fear losing. Find other ways to feel good about yourself than the size of your paycheck. Surround yourself with the right people. Just because you have a history with someone doesn't mean you need to keep spending time with them if you've grown in different directions. Have 20% of your paycheck automatically deposited in a savings account. Do this from your first job and you'll always live below your means and have plenty in savings investments. It's okay to be a bit selfish. Be childish while you still can. You can always say no. Drinking and driving will have a huge impact on your career and earning potential. Don't do it for that reason alone. If you're not happy in your relationships or someone puts their hands on you, please don't stay. You are not obligated to make someone else happy. To all those about to enter college, listen to everyone's advice, but you don't have to heed it. That advice might have been good for that person, but that person isn't you. Maybe it applies to you, maybe not. Follow your own path, but do try to learn from the mistakes of others, particularly if they took the time to warn you about specific pitfalls. But if they do tell you about good experiences, restaurants, etc., try them. Might not be your cup of tea, or might be the best experience ever. Either way, you diversify your experiences. Note, this applies to any point in life, not just college. Look at your significant other's parents' relationship and expect elements of it to come up in yours. I would add, look at the way your significant other perceives that relationship. My partner and I both come from abusive, broken homes, and we've been together happily for almost 5 years now. We're both very self-aware and make a point of confronting unhealthy behavior patterns in each other. Never trust anyone with more than you can afford to lose. Always get any deals or agreements in writing, signed and with a witness, especially when family is involved. Save some money while you are living with your goddamn parents. Don't let your small dogs use the stairs. Buy a baby gate. I miss my Wilson every day because of my ignorance. Please, stay inside. I am from Spain, and we were so stupid, me included. We thought this whole thing was a joke. It is not. Coronavirus has taken more than 6,000 lives in Spain, and it keeps going. Please, if you can, stay inside and wash your hands. Even if it does sound stupid, stay safe out there. If not for yourself, then for others. Save your journal on the cloud. You ever know when someone will steal your computer? Don't start smoking. Ask her out. Focus on your career. But she's married with 3 kids. If your spouse takes a left turn toward alcoholism town, GTFO, and don't believe for a second that you can fix an addict, you can't. The only person that can fix an addict is themselves. If you have to ask why am I doing this, then stop doing it and move on. That's with jobs, friends, relationships, etc. If you're in college, do it right. Finish it right no matter how long it takes. Get the degree you actually want and any minors or certs that make it better. Look up job offers for your degree and see what they expect. Maybe take an extra semester getting a cert in something like graphic information systems or a software while doing an internship. I took a bad degree because I was ready to be done with school due to my alcoholism. I was 1 year away from a really great degree, but I gave up and basically trashed the last 4. I can't reuse those classes for the proper degree either. Take your time. Don't hit golf balls in your garden towards the windows. Don't get into a relationship with someone who has mental illness and is not actively seeking help for it. It will drive you insane. That your sunglasses don't float. Don't be afraid to say I love you. Rejection may suck, but at least you will know how the other person truly feels. Years of wondering what if is a lot worse than rejection. Don't go to medical school. Go to nursing school right after high school. Then work for a few years. Then either you can go to med school if you still want it. You already have most of the knowledge and you'll know if clinic work is good for you. You can also get masters and PhDs in nursing and enter teaching and research through that discipline, instead of wasting your 20s and hundreds of thousands of dollars hoping to get into med school and then finding out you hate it once you're there. There can never be enough of learning. Even small skills. Do it. It will build on who you are and what you can do. Gives you an upper hand with everything in life. From jobs to your social life. Respect yourself enough to walk away from bad people. Figure out a way to make bettering yourself enjoyable early in life. It'll make you an extraordinary person over time. Don't become satisfied with activities that merely entertain. They won't help you grow. Not really too late for me, but I wish I'd just started much earlier. Truly consider whom you hang around and eliminate the negative influences in your life. The people who don't care whether you win or even much prefer to see you losing. Stay the duck away from hardcore drugs. 2. If you are in a sketchy situation and your gut is telling you to leave, listen. Stop being lazy and it will lead to a healthy and great life. Make the most of high school while you can. Join clubs, teams, etc. So much I wish I could have done. Want to not hate your job as much? Stop thinking about who should be doing the job and just do it. Got a lot of pressure off my shoulders. Count to 10 before you answer in an argument. Reflection. I think that's important. Take time, even if it's a minute, to reflect on situations, people, experiences. Learn something from everything. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they are entitled to a space in your life. Cutting toxic people for your own health can and should include toxic family members. The more you let others, especially parents, control your life and don't establish boundaries, the more likely it is that you will be doing something you absolutely hate but let others push you into doing. Establish boundaries and take control of your life. Edit. Seems like a lot of Redditors have gone through this sort of thing. Never let your anger overtake your thoughts because you will make a decision that cannot be undone. Don't go to a for-profit university looking at University of Phoenix. Don't devalue yourself for someone who doesn't value you in the first place. Also, not everybody deserves a second chance. Take substance misuse issues very seriously, long before it's a stereotypical addiction problem. You don't need to be a homeless, jobless, friendless addict to say you have a problem. You don't have to be using a certain amount or using at a certain frequency for it to be a problem. If you use substances to try to escape distressing feelings, then it's a problem. It doesn't need to cost you everything you love to be a legitimate issue worthy of seeking help. A man cannot build a reputation on what he is going to do. Henry Ford. If you stay out of other people's business, you will reduce 90% of the drama in your life. Let them vent to you but don't get involved or start giving advice. Don't let your credit score go to shit, no matter how good of a friend or family member they are. Do not co-sign. Revenge is good but it can land you in prison. I was jumped by about 15 guys. I had just gotten out of border patrol and was assaulted while washing my car. Fast forward a year later and I run into one of the guys at a family gathering. He starts bragging how he and his buddy jumped me and well after about an hour or so of ignoring it, I reacted. Guy attempts to strike me with a bottle and I punched him in the mouth as he motioned to hit me, knocked him out, falls on cement and cracks open his head and starts posturing and convulsing. It took him 15 minutes to come to. I almost went to prison had he died and would have left my wife and 3 kids without a husband and dad. You are not responsible for other people's actions. You don't have to go to college, and in fact you shouldn't unless you meet the following 3 criteria. This is geared more towards Americans and other places with expensive college. You know beyond a doubt what career you want and it happens to require a degree. The career pays well enough to justify loans. The career has good job growth. For example, on paper being a pharmacist is an amazing job, but there is so much oversaturation that it is difficult to find a job once you graduate. There are plenty of career opportunities that pay well and don't require you to go into massive amounts of debt. There is an advantage to being underestimated. Use it. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.